We're back with our panel, Mark Furman, Jeff, and Joey, and we are talking about the Drew Peterson case and what happened this week. So let's kind of step back. You said it wasn't a good week for the prosecution. Can they make up where they, according to you, went wrong, Joey?
It's going to be very difficult to do. First, you're talking about things that are not admissible, and then you have the blocking of motive. The whole case, remember, Judge, it's predicated upon motive, means opportunity, right? The motivation, pension.
What was the motivation, Mark?
Well, I think the motivation is first thing is control. This is Drew Peterson's whole world is control, and that's what he does. He controls.
What about the pension?
When control goes away, I mean, he would have figured out a different way, but I think that Kathleen Savio might have been a little sharper than he ever predicted, and I think she had her ducks in a row, and she was probably going to make it really hard on the house, the money in the house, and his pension.
Mark,
so is it about money?
Tell us about cops and their pension, okay? Cops and their pension. This is a sacred topic.
$300,000 pension.
Okay, and when he said, "You'll never see my pension," that's why he did this, okay? And for the jury not to really understand that how the distribution of those assets at the end were after she was dead was very different. He got everything he wanted.
So
if she would have been living.
I got to agree with that, Jeff, because the bottom line here is the jury wants to connect the dots. The jury wants a motivation.
But the prosecutor is trying to get them.
And the judge won't let him. The judge won't let him, and that's why it's favorable.
Is there a chance that they can get a conviction here, Mark?
I think there's a chance if they present the foundation before Neil Shorey, the minister, gets on, and he connects a lot of the dots because the time frame of the murder is exactly when Drew was gone, exactly when he coached Stacy to tell the police, the detectives, exactly what he told her to, that I was in bed with you. They got cell phone records.
If you believe that, though, Mark, you have to believe that. And remember, it's hearsay testimony.
I'm going to tell you,
if
Neil Shorey gets on the stand,
the
jury will believe him.
He's credible, he's believable, he's likable, he's whatever they're looking.
So let's assume that we have motive. He didn't want his pension to go to her. And by the way, guys, he got a subpoena just before then to get his pension records, okay? Okay, number two, let's assume that Drew Peterson did, in fact, try to hire someone to kill his wife and pay them $25,000. The judge isn't letting any of that in. So now we got to rely on hearsay. How much of the hearsay?
It's all hearsay, especially, look, the sister, Kathy Savio's sister, Anna Doman, testified, and she said that Kathy told her that Drew said that she would never see that pension because he would kill her before that. But I got to say something. We're talking about hearsay upon hearsay. They had to invent a statute in Illinois to let this in.
Oh, but under the common law and the federal law. Let's not get the weeds.
But the point of it is this. Look, the point of it is this. That's just hearsay. It's not like someone calling 911 and saying he's going to kill me.
From the dead, if you're dead, what are you supposed to do?
But look, a lot of people say things, and that is not going to be very trustworthy to this jury.
Well, here's why, Jeff.
People say, one second, people say every day, wives say every day, honey, I'm going to kill you if you don't put that toilet seat down, okay? If you find the guy dead a week later and the toilet seat's up, are you going to convict him?
But, Judge, here's the bigger issue.
I'd convict him. Just remember that they didn't invent that. The state legislature.
Right. It was common law, common law, and federal law. Don't get me started.
The bigger issue is this. If something like this happened and there was a statement, he said he was going to kill me, he was worried. Why do you say it in 2007 as opposed to 2004? That's a problem.
We're blaming her sister.
I don't want to blame the sister.
Okay, I'm going to come to the defense of the Savio family. I sat with the Savio family. They have been screaming for 3 years. Nobody would listen. This is something that the prosecution's not going to tell you, or the detectives.
Mark, on redirect examination, on cross-examination, the question was asked of her.
3 years.
Did you tell the police that? Answer, no. When did it first come up? 2007.
They wouldn't even talk to him. They wouldn't talk to him.
He's dead for 8 years. Why are they not complaining?
They wouldn't talk to him at the beginning. They were at the coroner's inquest. They wouldn't even ask him any questions.
Just telling you what the defense is saying. Look, I think it's a shame.
I'm telling you what the family.
Well, okay, and here's the problem. You know what we're doing, guys? We're blaming the victim's sister as though she's the one on trial.
I'm not blaming the victim's sister.
These guys are. Those guys. Both of them.
I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming her at all.
But wait a minute. If you can't get the statement like that in, which the Judge White decided would come in, and then Judge Vermilla amazingly let it in, defense attorney messes up and adds something that was suppressed, he made a big error. Didn't the defense blow it this week?
I think so.
Yes.
Even though there was not an admission, because we heard the interview that they blew it, I think they did in some respects. However, ultimately, we live in a very CSI Miami society. People want hardcore evidence. They want eyewitnesses. They want DNA. They want information that connects.
You know what
and
that
here,
tells
when it's
me,
hearsay,
Joey?
Judge, it's a problem.
The problem is then if you're smart enough and have the best law enforcement education, as his lawyer talked about in opening statements, you can get away with it if you cover up all the evidence. Have we come to that, Jeff?
Oh, you know what? That is a serious, serious problem here that he's going to get away with this. The best the state can hope for is a hung jury, so he'll stick in jail for a while longer.
You think?
Well, I think this whole problem with this is you had a bunch of detectives that wanted to believe it was an accidental death before they ever walked in there, before they ever saw anything.
Cop.
If the state...
And it doesn't necessarily mean it's because of Drew. It means you could have incompetent detectives.
But Mark,
an accident is easier to handle.
I'm going
than
to
a
tell you
homicide.
this. If the state continues to push the envelope and seek to introduce evidence which is otherwise not admissible, we'll see a mistrial. And if there's a mistrial with prejudice, guess what? Guess what?
You can't try it
It's
again.
done. You can't try it again. He's out.
And you know what? Here's the bottom line. The state has an obligation to present as much evidence as it can because this is about the truth. But Mark, Jeff, Joey, stick around. You guys are going to be back later in the show.